Firstly, shall we just reflect finally on the first game against Rochdale at the weekend? A well-deserved draw in the end, it seems.
Yeah, I think so. I think we played a really good game against a strong team as well. They've got a lot of good players. I think they're really well coached. You can see that. So, and they've been in quite good form in the league. I think they started tough start, which is normal when you come down, but then they picked right up. So for me to go away there, and I think we had large parts of the game where we played really, really well. Come away with a draw was excellent.
People like us always ask you how, to measure yourself against league teams and in cup competitions when those kind of opportunities come along. In a match like that, when you are playing a higher ranked opposition, do you learn much about your players that you didn't already know?
No, I don't think so, because I think when we've played Stockport, Wrexham away, Grimsby away, if you consider some of the away games like Wrexham away and Grimsby away, I think we've really stepped up and performed really well. So I'm aware that the players have got that level in them. So it's just to find it each time, and I think sometimes, to go away where the expectation is a bit lower, there's a bit of pressure off. For me, we've got to be able to find the same kind of intensity no matter who we play, and that'll be the challenge for us. But no, I don't think I learned anything major. I know that we're a good team. I know that we've got that capabilities. So I'm just happy that the players show it.
You end up with another replay like you had in the qualifying round. But I suppose looking at the schedule, I know you've got another midweek the week after, but after that, it's a fairly comfortable schedule, isn't it, in terms of not having too many midweeks? So is a replay the end of the world?
No, far from it. Far from it. Not for me. A bit more work around the club, but and a few scowls from the people that have got a bit of extra days to work now. But for me, it's no problem. Like, of course, we'd rather win the game and not have to replay. But we love to play the games. Like, for me, when I came in, Saturday, Tuesday was how it was anyway, and we cope with that physically. I think we've got a good medical team, physical team that work close. So. We manage it through the week, and then to play the games is great, and the fact that we've got back-to-back games at Meadow Lane's brilliant, so I'm happy with that. And December's actually quite a quiet month when you look at the fixtures, unless we get through and start taking more replays again. It doesn't look that heavy with fixtures, so I'm more than happy with how the schedule looks at the moment.
And what about the draw? That's given you a home, whichever way it goes, it looks a very attractive home side if you can get home tie, if you can get past Rochdale, either Sheffield Wednesday or Plymouth. I suppose at this stage it's about as tough as it gets, both of them right towards the top of League One.
Yeah, but I was really happy with that. Should we get through, we've got a very, very important game on Saturday that we're focused on. So I haven't thought too much about the replay yet, but when it comes around, if we can play well and get through, that would be fantastic to be home and against a big team. That's what it's about for me. So the draw is fine, but I'll be honest, since the draw I haven't really paid too much thought about it. I've just thought about Solihull and this weekend really.
You started the season with, I think it was 7 undefeated, and then had that little blip in the middle. Now 7 undefeated again. If you take what you've seen so far this season and where you are this season so far, Ian, how happy are you in terms of progress and where you wanted to be?
Yeah, I think this last 7 games were better than the first 7, to be honest. I think, although we maybe haven't quite scored as many goals, I think we've been a little bit more stable in the way in which we've played and more consistent. And I think that we've kind of gone back to perhaps closer to the back end of last season, where I felt like the way we moved the ball and the speed and the tempo and the intensity of the players is a little bit more akin to that. So really happy with the last 7 games, but it's kind of relentless. You see, we get Solihull, then we go Eastleigh away, Boreham Wood away, Dagenham home. Really, really difficult, tough games. So we can't really let up and feel comfortable at any point. We've just got to keep pushing, really.
You obviously had a lot of injury problems earlier in the season. They seem now to sort of all be starting to come back, those players. You had Sam Slocum on the bench as well. So clearly that's a step in the right direction for him. He must be close.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam's training well, and like you say, we lost kind of 3 or 4 players in the space of a week, and it really hurt us during that period. But everybody's back and fit, and it's training today was fantastic. Real good competition in the training sessions, and you can see that everybody's hungry to play. And I think you feel like if 1 or 2 players are missing, 1 or 2 players are coming in, the quality's not affected. And I think when that's how it is, it's certainly far less stress for me to think about the possibilities if somebody's in or out, and then what we've got to replace. So I think the squad's in a good shape.
And as we've been mentioning during the course of the week, this week's game looks huge with the cheaper tickets, big crowd coming in as well, and Solihull arriving in form. It's two in-form teams going at it together. It looks as, it's got the makings of being a cracking Saturday, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I mean, they've been, like you said, they've been in really, really good form. I think when you look at their results, they've performed better against better teams, and all the points that they've generally dropped have been against the teams lower down in the table. So I think they've raised their game when they play top teams, and they're certainly well organised. So really, really tough game. But I think the kind of the tickets that we're selling and the way that it's looking, and the ticket office is so busy. We've got Cal Rubin and Frank Vincent selling in there. Ruben's got his aviator shades on and is trying to give it the big sell in the ticket office to people, and everybody's kind of united in really making a push to try and make it something special this weekend and fill up the ground and create a great atmosphere. And I think should we surpass the record for the National League, which is obviously our target, I think it's a wonderful achievement both for the club and for all of the supporters coming in, just to show how big this football club is. So I really look forward to a big crowd. There's nothing better.
And how much can that big crowd help you on the day itself as well? How much difference does it make if you get the place almost full?
Yeah, absolutely. I think every player wants to be a part of it, and I think we'll be hungry to give them what they want when they're in. So yeah, it pushes us. Every time we've had a good crowd here and they've been vocal at home and away, I think they've given us a real push. So it'll be a massive boost for us.
And there's the Neil Ardley factor in there as well. Obviously, the former Notts County manager, he'll be desperate to come back and prove a point or two, I guess. And as we say, his team are in terrific form. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I've had it going back to my former clubs, and you always want to win those games. So I totally understand that. I think, I met Neil when we played in pre-season. He's a brilliant guy, absolutely fantastic bloke, and I think he did a very, very good job here. And he left really good foundations for me when I came in. So I'm sure we'll drink a beer afterwards and have a chat about managing Notts County, and I'm sure he'll be coming to do everything he can to win, but he's a very astute and smart coach, and will certainly give us a difficult task.
And looking at their stats, it seems about the most difficult thing you're going to have against them is to score, isn't it? They've conceded one goal in their 8-game unbeaten run.
Yeah, they've been really resolute defensively. I think the keeper's been in great form, and they've been really well organised. They went away to Wigan last week, drew 0-0, didn't really concede too many chances. So yeah, defensively so we're going to have to be at our absolute best, to be able to open them up and score those goals. But I think we've been good in a lot of our attacking phases, so hopefully we can bring that to the table.
Hope you can, Ian. All the best. That's it from me.
Thanks,
you.
Colin.
Cheers.
Sarah, over to you.
Hello, hi Ian, nice to meet you. I'm standing in for Lee, so yeah.
An upgrade, we say.
Wouldn't go that far. I just wondered how much you and the players are looking forward to this weekend, playing in front of the big crowd and the game itself.
Yeah, like I said before, the big crowds are brilliant. I've been a part of games with big crowds before, and it's always something extra with that kind of level of atmosphere. We sensed it last year, like when I came in last year and there was no crowds allowed, it's quite stagnant, and the game sometimes feels a bit stale. But when the supporters come in, and they come in so many, it totally changes the dynamic of the game, and it gives us something extra. So yeah, for me personally, and I'm sure for the players, we really look forward to seeing all the fans here.
Is it something the players can thrive on, that kind of atmosphere? I guess sometimes it brings pressure, doesn't it, when you're playing in front of so many fans as well? But do you have to kind of use it the other way?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's an individual, but I would suspect if you ask any of our players, the bigger the crowd, the better, because that's what they're here for. And many of them have played in big games as well. And I think they're the ones that stick out in your memory. So, yeah, it brings a little bit of added pressure, but I think it's just to relax and play a game and enjoy the atmosphere rather than feel like it's tension or anything like that. Just to relax, embrace the environment and play your football. And I kind of want them to show everybody what they're capable of doing, and hopefully we can do that.
Mentioned about them helping out in the ticket office. Is that something that the players enjoy doing, that kind of side of things?
Well, I think some of them, yeah, and some of them maybe not. But the three we've got in there, Cal, Ruben and Vinny, are having themselves a little bit. I think we've got a couple of second-hand car dealers there if they're ever not in football. So they are, they're, especially Ruben, I mean, it's like he's Wolf of Wall Street in there, trying to sell the tickets. So it's great to see, and I think the lads, you know, they really appreciate the initiative and really appreciate the effort from the supporters. And I think the fact that they're in and around the ticket office and getting in and around the fans to help sell the tickets is a great thing.
You've got a competition there. Who sells the most?
Yeah, do you know what? Years ago, when I was out in Norway, we did it, and I remember we were selling season tickets, and we had like a little, we had the players that were ringing out, and they were getting competitive between themselves about who was the best salesman. And I think it's getting that way in there, where, but I've got the feeling Ruben's dominating a little bit in there, so he's probably going to top the bill. Plus, I should say, his mum and dad are arriving this weekend, so that's probably why he's trying to fill the stadium up, you know, so that he can, the more the merrier.
You mentioned all the players coming back from injury. I just wondered if that gives you a bit of a selection headache sometimes. I guess it's nice having the choice, but is it difficult then when you've got more options?
Yeah, it can be, because you've got more variance and more possibilities of what you can do with the team and different skill sets of the players. But at the same time, I think when we play Saturday, Tuesday, it does give us the chance to rotate one or two, freshen the team up, but also maintain a really good level within the squad. So I think for me it's no problem, especially with kind of the 4 games in quick succession coming up.
You talked about how the improvement in the last 7 games. I just wondered if you've done anything differently, if anything's changed compared to before.
Not hugely. I mean, when we got the team together, I think the way in which we wanted to play, the relationships between the players are quite important. So we worked a lot of in possession play and positions when we've got the ball. We saw that we were a little bit vulnerable on losing the ball and some of the defending phases, and I think in the last 7 games we've conceded only 3, and that's been a big shift for us. So we've worked a lot more on the structure off ball, and that's what happens. You know, we had those 3 games, and I think without those 3 games we got some really important kind of reference points of where we needed to go back to. We've kind of revisited some stuff and strengthened up, and I think we've improved in those areas.
How much confidence do you take from results like the one against Rochdale, like competing against the teams above you in the pyramid? Yeah,
I think so. I think the players felt good out there as well, and they felt more than at home playing against that level of player, and certainly they have some very good players in that team. So we got a real test there, and I think the players came through and felt really good about the game. So yeah, that gives you a lot. Those kind of games, the Grimsby games, they do fill you up with confidence, but it's just to keep pushing and maintaining it, and knowing if you have a bad 20 minutes in a game, you know, you can turn it round because we have the quality.
I guess it's getting that consistency as well, isn't it? That's kind of what you spoke about before. It's so important to doing well in the league. Is there a secret behind it, or?
I think it's just hard work on the training ground and keep pushing each other, because we know where our top level sits, but it's just to maintain that kind of focus to keep trying to get to that top level more consistently, and I think that just comes from the work on the training pitch day in, day out.